いつか君が教えてくれたあの言葉が
Hi, this is the anime addicts, and the analyst seems... I think he's been sleepwalking, and obviously he's asleep, and he's got a mustache.
Don't even think about it.
Are you what I think you are?
Very clever, Captain Obvious.
Funny you should mention about superheroes. They punch stuff. Oh! You are not taking his brain! Ow!
Where the hell am I and what time is it?
Analyst, don't panic. But there's a parasite in your mustache.
What's this? I only just shaved 2 days ago.
I'm so terribly sorry, but I have to borrow your friend for the next couple of hours, until my proper host comes back from the doctor's.
Oh. Okay. In that case, you can help review today's anime. It's your specialty.
Very well, now go to sleep.
Well, this is going to be one crazy Halloween arc. Time to review, I guess. This is Parasite, the Maxim. So, ever wondered what it'd be like to have the thing from another world as your symbiotic partner, instead of being, you know, consumed by it? Well, this would give you an idea if you had these shape-shifting flesh abilities. Here's the plot.
Simply called Parasite is an anime that centers on a compassionate, thoughtful 17-year-old high school student named Shinichi Izumi. One day, a bunch of worm-like creatures called Parasites arrive on Earth to take over the brains of humans as hosts. One parasite, however, attempts to crawl into Shinichi's ear while he sleeps, but fails as Shinichi is wearing headphones, and enters his body by burrowing into his arm instead.
Because of this, Shinichi and the parasite both have separate intellects and personality. How did you become separate?
Well, his dog spotted me and tried to eat me. I tried calling up his nose, but the nose hairs got in the way. So I just burrowed into his top lip and thus grew this moustache to conceal it.
Right. The name of the parasite is called Migi, and he lives in Shinichi's right hand, named after the Japanese word right. Unlike successful parasites, Migi has no desire to kill humans for substance and is nourished by food that Shinichi eats. Migi can be reasoned with, and like other parasites, he is completely without emotion, but gradually evolves over the course of the series. He is also able to temporarily separate himself from Shinichi's body. In the Tokyo Pop version, in which the images are flipped horizontally, the parasite takes over Shinichi's left hand and is named Lefty. Throughout the series, the duo encounter other parasites, while gradually forming a bond. So not only do they fight other parasites, they also work together in order to survive. This gives them an edge in battling other parasites, and also the other parasites tend to have the realization that Shinichi's human brain is still intact.
So, he's like a superhero.
Yeah. And like a superhero with a secret identity, Shinichi must also find a way to explain away his parasitic fighting activities, as well as dealing with the stress and grief that they cause to him and his family. Speaking of which, here are the characters. Satomi Murano, Shinichi's best friend and sometimes companion. Shinichi and Satomi develop a romantic relationship over the course of the series, though conflict within the relationship occurs.
Kana Kimishima, the so-called bad girl who develops a crush on Shinichi. She is attracted to him because of his sensitive personality, and because she can sense something different about him. In reality, however, Kana has an unexplained psychic ability to sense parasites. However, her senses are not as fine-tuned as those of the parasites themselves.
Yuko Tachikawa, one of Satomi's two best friends. Her brother works as a criminal profiling illustrator due to her seeing her brother's sketches of parasites and her crush on Hideo Shimada. She ended up at the center of a dangerous situation.
Akiho Suzuki, the other of Satomi's two best friends, who has a minor crush on Shinichi.
So, are there any bad guys in this show?
Why yes, and here's a small rundown on them. Reiko Tamura, a parasite who infected and took on the identity of Set Woman. Not only is she a main villain that is fascinated with science, but she's pregnant.
By Jove! Are you serious? Fascinating. I don't get it.
Goto is an experimental parasite created by Reiko by adding 4 additional parasites to his host's body. As a result, he basically mutates into a, well, not human.
He looks like a zoonoid. Or my third cousin twice removed.
Mickey, one of the parasites that composes in Goto's body. His name has an additional meaning which means free trees, referencing how he is only able to manipulate free parasites in the body. Unlike other parasites, Mickey has learnt to show emotions, just like humans. The parasites themselves tend to have a very cold and calculative personalities, and are cannibalistic based on their hosts. They can also produce blades from flesh, as well as morphing into various shapes and sizes. They can identify other parasites through the wavelengths emitted by their brains. Weaknesses: cutting off their digestive systems, alcohol, and fire. Well, that's the villains covered. It barely feels like a horror, more like a sci-fi with adult themes.
Though there is horror in it, it's more of a diet horror? I'm sorry, I just can't put my finger on it.
It also has a dark superhero aspect, and while there are funny moments, things get rather tedious. It's even less enjoyable with the philosophical and sanctimonious bullcrap. Speaking of funny moments, this is one of the more dirtier jokes.
Shinichi,
Jesus, seriously? I told you not to talk whenever there's people around.
please hold still. I'm going to try to make your sex organ erect.
The hell you are?
That's really messed up.
I concur.
Character development is also a factor between Migi and Shinichi, both emotional and biological ones. There are other tropes of the superhero, so yeah, a loved one is sure to be killed. Episode 9 and 10, the government gets involved and they actually come up with some interesting concepts.
The animation is, for once, high quality, especially with the parasites and their hosts. Oh, and there's this guy named Mamoru Uda. Long story short, he's similar to Shinichi, but the parasite took over the lower part of his head and face, most notably his jaw. And he's brash and crude, seemingly having a weird sense of humor and often assumes control of Uda's mouth, and is called Joe.
The last episode isn't typical, but it can be considered annoying, but with a serene conclusion. The music for the start is your standard rock and roll, while the end sounds more like something from a boy band. All in all, for an anime, it's average, but good.
This is just a typical normal day for me. Are we done?
Not yet.
Okay then, in that case, I'll just use the phone to call my host.
They also made a live-action movie. They are in 2 parts, like some anime adaptations. The film topped the box office on its opening weekend in Japan, earning 2.9 million from 256,000 admissions on 418 screens. The film grossed millions at the Chinese box office.
But the critics still considered it average. So if you want average potato bland, with a dash of blood, guts, and grease off the rod, this is the anime for you.
Okay, that sums it all up.
Good. Now just hold on a sec. I need to wake up the analyst.
Are we done?
Tally ho!
This has been your anime analyst speaking, and I'm going to bed.
And I'm the Reminisce Reviewer. And, never mind.
You got to know.